Hi, my wonderful writers. So today we are going to start a long week of learning new ways to make our writing better. Because remember, we are not master authors like all of those stories we have heard, but we are working and we are learning from them to try to make our writing better each time we do it. So you've been doing a lot of great writing, and eventually you will be picking one piece to turn into a masterpiece, one piece of writing, and you are going to be able to share it with your friends very soon. So today, you need to get your writer's notebooks. And remember, the back where we have been brainstorming some things, I want you to turn to that very first page with that sticky note. And we're actually going to use the page right next to it. Okay? And today, we are going to learn how to write different hooks. Now, I want you to visualize this. When you hook something like a fish, and then you have to pull it in, right? Once your fish gets on that hook, you have to pull it in. That is our goal as master authors, is to be able to pull in, not a fish, but pull in the reader and make them see that first sentence, and they are so excited they have to keep reading it. So I am going to teach you 4 different hooks today that we use at the beginning of our writing. So again, you should be on that very first, it's in the back of our book, that very first page with that sticky note. We're going to do the page right next to it, and we're going to write and learn about the different types of hooks. And no, I don't mean fishing hooks. The different types of hooks in writing that master authors use, okay? So there are 4. The first one, and we will work together and we'll brainstorm some ideas. The first one is a question. A lot of times, authors pull in the reader by asking them a question. Now, the next one is one of my favorite words to say. Onomatopoeia. Say it with me. Onomatopoeia. This is a long one. And I will tell you what an onomatopoeia is in a minute. An onomatopoeia, I love to say that, is just a fancy word for, do you know? For a sound word. A lot of times authors put onomatopoeias in their stories, and that really pulls in the reader. I can think right now, Olivia and Owen love the Froggy books, and I can't think of the author's name, but he puts a lot of onomatopoeias in his writing, and we love that. So then, another hook that you can do is just restating the prompt or the topic that you're writing about. So you should be writing all this stuff down with me. And then the 4th one is always my 3rd grade friend's favorite, but sometimes you can't use this one in the types of writing, is a riddle. Okay? So we are going to dig a little bit deeper into each of these hooks. Now, we're going to come up with an idea, and we're just going to stick with the last piece that we wrote about. That does not mean that's the one that you have to publish later on. I'll tell you more about it. But we're going to think about our favorite month. Remember our favorite month writing piece? And we're just going to brainstorm a different hook for all of those. Okay? So underneath just go ahead and draw a line. And I want you to split your paper into fourths. So you're going to draw a straight line down and then a straight line in the middle. So you have your 4 boxes, okay? I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, but yours should look pretty similar to mine. So the first one we're gonna come up with, the first one we're gonna brainstorm together with is a question. So a question needs to always end with a what? A question mark. So I'm gonna put a big fat question mark so that, sorry, you can't see it, so that you know that if you're going to start your writing piece with a question, you better have a question mark at the end of that sentence. So let's go back and remember, we're just brainstorming for one of our writing prompts. It's easier that way. Let's think about our favorite month. So what's a question you could ask your reader about a favorite month? Take a minute and think. Because remember, I wrote mine about May. You each wrote about your favorite month. But I want to pull the reader in. I want the reader to want to read my story. So this would be a good example. Do you have a favorite month? And remember, we should be skipping lines, and shame on Mrs. Harp, I forgot to indent, so I'm just gonna draw a little arrow, but if you can, indent. So do you have a favorite month? Now, in a question, you wanna pull them in a little bit more and answer the question. So I'm gonna say, I do. It is, do you remember my favorite month? May. You can copy mine, or you can add the month that you did. So that is an example of a question hook. So when you do your hooks today, you're not going to be able to copy mine because you're going to do it on all of your writing pieces. So I think we've done about 3 or 4 writing pieces. So you are going to come up with a question later, and I'll explain all the directions later, for each of your writing pieces. So the time that you wrote about a special memory, you can't say, do you have a favorite month? I do, it's May. That doesn't make sense, right? You would need to come up with a question or any of the of the hooks to go with your prompt, okay? All right, so our next one is the sound word. Do you remember that, how to say that? Onomatopoeia. You see it okay? So let's skip to a different month. Let's not do May. What is a month that maybe a sound pops into your head? Now again, like I said, some of your writing prompts might not be able to have a sound. A question might be better. You don't have to come up with all 4 for each writing, just 1, okay? And maybe try to do a different hook for each piece of writing. So, 4th of July. What is a sound or an onomatopoeia that you might hear on 4th of July? I'll give you a minute to think. Boom, fireworks, sparkle, crack. Now, if you have different ones and you want to put bing, bang, boom, whatever, that's fine, okay? So we're going to just pretend right now that we are doing 4th of July, okay? So then, what could I write besides that? It's the 4th of July, and that is my favorite month. So you might already have in your head one of your prompts that you're like, oh yeah, I am going to add an onomatopoeia to that one. I can think when I go back and edit and add a hook to my favorite memory, when I was swimming with dolphins, I could come up with some good onomatopoeias, right? Now, when I wrote about a person, when I wrote about Mr. Garrett, I can't really think of a sound word for that one. So that one probably wouldn't be one I would use when I go back and add a hook to my writing about Mr. Garrett, right? Okay, so we have question, we have onomatopoeia, what else? Just restating the prompt. My favorite month is whatever, because, do you remember why my favorite month is May? Because it's a month that celebrates me all month. So I'm gonna write something like that. Now, if you're coming up with great ones on your own, you can write those down, okay? Remember, and I forgot again, make sure you're indenting. My favorite month is May because it is a month that, celebrates me. Okay? So again, when we go back and we are adding hooks to all of our pieces of writing, you do not need to come up with all 4 for each one. You're just picking your favorite. Now, I don't want you to add a riddle to every single one. I want you to try to pick a different one or couple that you like, okay? So you're only coming up with 1 hook for each piece of writing. And I'm gonna model that in a little bit, okay? All right. So then, I just told you the last one is a riddle. Now, a riddle tries to trick the reader. It tries to get them thinking. So again, I'm still talking about months, our favorite month. So I might say something like, what month is all about mothers, presents, and love? That would be a riddle. I'm going to remember to indent. Now we can't leave the reader hanging. We can't just ask that question and then not answer it. So I'm gonna say something like this. If you guessed May, then you are correct, and that is my favorite month. All right, so there we have it. We have come up with our 4 different types of hooks. Say them with me. Question, onomatopoeia or a sound word, restating the prompt, and a riddle. All right, so now I want you to think about all your pieces of writing. You are going to take about 10 minutes and you're going to go back to the front of your writing journals and you are going to add a hook to each of your writing. So think about the writing pieces we've done. We've done about a person. So you are going to want, and that is why we skip lines, you are going to want to add a hook to your special person, anyone you want. It could be restate the prompt, it could be a question, it could be a riddle, it could be an onomatopoeia. You're just picking one, right? What was the other ones we did? The time that you felt scared but then good. Remember that one? A special memory you had. And then there were a couple that you did with Miss Peters. These are the ones you did with me, so I don't have all of them. Your favorite month. On the directions I will have, because right now my brain cannot remember all of the amazing writing prompts you did. But I will have the directions of you are going to add a different hook to each of your writing pieces, okay? This should take you maybe a couple minutes for each one. You're not changing your writing. You're not copying my hooks. You are putting those hooks into your different pieces of writing, all right? Have so much fun. Find a quiet place, turn on some relaxing music, and get ready to hook your reader. I cannot wait to see how creative you are. I will talk to you later. Bye.